Welcome, low ego action heroes. This is Debbie from dcx, and welcome to episode 249 Tech HR Buzzword Belonging. This was an article that I wrote a couple of months ago, so my Patreon fans got it, and then it went into the mysterious ether. It went out on Medium and then disappeared, but I've managed to incorporate it into my new book, Life After Tech. So if you don't know that I have a new book coming out, now you do. And it's about careers. What are we going to do when tech is done with us or we're done with tech? Maybe that's now, maybe that's later, but you're going to want to know. So, Life After Tech comes out later this month, and I hope you'll check it out. Also, thanks as always to my past, current, and future Patreon members who get early access to lots of stuff, and I thank them for their support. Patreon.com/CXCC, and you're always welcome to join that for free. So, today we're going to be talking about a buzzword that we sometimes hear from companies: belonging. Belonging at our company. I had someone complain about my glasses. Belonging. Community and belonging and sense of belonging, blah, 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 at our company. And I wrote an article because I ran into kind of a strange instance of this. And I want to hear from you. If you're listening live, drop a comment. If you've ever had a strange experience in an interview or working at a company with something related to community and belonging at the company. Or if you're watching the video later, leave a comment in especially the YouTube videos. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll read the article. And as always, it's audience participation. So if there's something you want to comment on or agree or disagree, please do. This is for everybody to get involved. Okay, so screen share. And let's find the article. Here we go. So you can find this on Medium and on my Delta CX LinkedIn newsletter. And I say that because there will be a Life After Tech LinkedIn newsletter and a Life After Tech Medium publication. So lots of new stuff coming. So so I wrote this August 19th. Wow, was it really? Well, I probably wrote it in July and then published it in August. So because the Patreons get it first. So here we go. I recently had an exploratory call with Company X, a place where I would really like to work. I've been a paying customer since January 2016, so I care about what they do and I would like to be a part of it. They have two open jobs that match me very well. Exciting! It's a job that allows remote workers in the US and Canada. Okay, I guess I could move back to the US if I had to for work. That's not plan A, but I'm prepared for it. As the in house talent recruiter and I discussed logistics and locations, she said something about this being part of belonging at Company X, as if it's a program or an organized effort with that name. I told her I have home bases in Tucson and Dallas, and I could live in either place. She said that was not possible. Company X's program and efforts around community and belonging require that uh, workers live only in three American cities where you'd need to come into the office, or six American cities and one Canadian city from which you can work remotely. I guess those cities don't have offices yet. When I talked about where I wanted to live to work remotely at this job, I heard again how I essentially can't stay in the community where I belong, where I'm living now, due to community and belonging at Company X. I have to say it sounded a little culty. And let's say this again. I can't stay in the community where I belong due to community and belonging at Company X. I would need to move at my own expense to a company that could lay me off weeks or months later. They laid off 5% of their staff in 2023, so we can't pretend that more layoffs are impossible in a time when layoffs are super cool and very popular among tech companies. I'd have to find a place to live, figure out transportation, get insured, find a new doctor, etc., just to belong at this company. I don't need my sense of community from my job. My circle of friends might not be my coworkers. I might have little in common with them. I don't like work happy hours and larger social events with coworkers. I believe that part of work life balance means not seeing your coworkers outside of work. I also don't have to do in person activities with people to feel connected to or bonded with them. And that's okay, right? If you want me to feel a sense of belonging, you'd be okay if I opted out of every single social gathering the company plans, right? Or would you say that community and belonging demand that I come to scheduled in person events? What is belonging? When a company says belonging, they might mean this, taken from diversity.cornell.edu. Belonging is the feeling of security and support when there is a sense of acceptance, inclusion, and identity for a member of a certain group. It is when an individual can bring their authentic self to work. Let's keep that definition in mind while offering a definition of belonging that comes from outside of HR and work. A deep feeling of being connected with places, people, and groups. Calm.com links to medical studies and offers belonging is also shown to be a key support for physical health, while the lack of it is linked to ill effects on health and well being. It helps us to manage stress and feel more resilient, which ultimately allows us to cope more effectively during challenging times. As you read that, or as I read it to you, did you think of one or more places where you belong? I mean, really belong. You want to live in this place because you miss it when you're not there. You have strong connections to people there, great friendships, social groups, and possibly religious, sports, or hobby groups. Maybe you have family ties there. Your parents are there. Your kids finally have friends at school. You wouldn't want to move away, uproot everything, and hope it's as good or better somewhere else. The chances feel small that you can recreate this sense of belonging somewhere else. I think about the times in my life where I lived somewhere I knew I didn't belong. I couldn't see beauty where I was. I hadn't easily found many like minded people and formed friendships. It was hard to afford the local cost of living. Every day felt like, why do I have to live here again? I eventually left those places. Can I be my authentic self while living in a city where I don't belong? It's a complicated question. I've lived in cities where I don't belong, so I know I can make this work. Oop, sorry. We've got fresh new activity in the Life After Tech Discord. I've lived in cities where I don't belong, so I know that I can make this work. Would I be at my happiest? No. Would I be okay? I'd make sure that I'm okay. Looking back on the years I spent living in places I didn't belong, where could I be my authentic self in a place I didn't belong? Mostly in isolation. Alone in my apartment, I could pretend I was anywhere. I could get online, chat or video call friends, and it didn't matter where I lived. I didn't have to think about the vibe of the city, the cost, the transportation, or anything else. I could just be me, in as close to a vacuum as I could create. Perhaps there's something philosophical in there. I found my greatest sense of belonging in isolation, especially when living in a city where I knew I didn't belong. I managed stress and I felt more resilient, which allowed me to cope with everything tough in my life, including living somewhere I knew I didn't belong. My authentic self in an expensive city I don't want to live in might be authentically unhappy. I'd feel a need to mask that at work. I couldn't be my authentic self at work. Back to belonging at Company X. It's quite possible that within Company X, they have programs set up for the HR definition of belonging. There will be programs and groups for people so they feel included and accepted. You can be your authentic self at work. But something is nagging at me. The company's approach to belonging would win over my own personal belonging needs. Company X wants to give me a sense of belonging in places where I don't belong. I know where I belong. I can try to take Company X's job, move to a city I might just be able to afford, given the salary she told me, and isolate myself to find my truest sense of belonging and happiness. But why leave the places where I already have that belonging and happiness? This is plan C. Plan A would be to stay where I'm happiest. The happier I am, the more I can bring to a company. Plan B would be to take on a hybrid job I can commute to, which would be by airplane since I don't live near any major cities. Perhaps I can work 2 days a week in an office, fly home, be happy, and fly back for 2 days of work, and do this each week. Plan C would be to move somewhere else for work, hoping I'm making enough for it to be worth it, and hope I'm not laid off while in a lease I can't break. I could do this, but it's not Plan A. The very nice woman from Company X and the number of times she said belonging to me really made me think about where I belong. Plan A would be to find a job where I already belong, a job that puts my human needs over a company's thoughts about creating community in a city where I don't want and possibly can't afford to live. Even if I believe in the company's mission or feel passionate about what they do, moving to a place where life feels miserable can kill that passion. If I'm that unhappy, it'll show up in everything I do. Who wants that for their workers? And that's the article. I see a few people watching live on LinkedIn. Hello, LinkedIners. The system's not telling me today how many are watching live on YouTube, but hello, YouTubers. If anybody has comments or questions about thoughts and feelings about belonging, please share them. I would love to hear what you're thinking. And if not, we can certainly wind the show down. And reminder of what's coming up next. Tomorrow, of course, is office hours Q&A, ask me anything, and Dr. Nick should be here. If you want to ask a question ahead of time, you can send it to the link on dcx.to. If you are starting to think about what you're going to do after a tech career, please check out my Life After Tech universe. The website's not ready yet. We're working on that this week. But you can find the Discord at lat.link/Discord. lat.link is my new URL shortener for the Life After Tech stuff. Ana Lucia, always good to see you. I'm thinking that woman from Company X is so miserable she memorized a script she doesn't even believe in. I thought about asking her that. I did have one of those moments where I wanted to be like, blink twice if you're okay. And when I posted about this on LinkedIn, Joel Barr wrote in and said, I think I interviewed at that company and we compared notes privately and it was the same company. So he heard the same community and belonging thing and he was like he thought it struck him weirdly. So nice to know it wasn't just me. Good golly gosh. Let's see. Yes, so we've got Q&A AMA coming. Quick note. Excuse me, I got up early. I'm going to be on vacation next week, so if I don't have any shows next week, don't take it personally. I'm trying to take the week off, especially to get some energy going before the big book launch. And check the events. Go over to the events, cxcc.to/events. So we do have more live streams coming. We do have more stuff coming, and there's lots of Life After Tech stuff coming. I do have a copy of the book, but it is the old cover, and the cover was the wrong size for the book that I had printed. So I can show it to you, but it's going to look different than this. We redid this cover. But it is going to have the Phoenix, but the Phoenix is new and improved. So Malika does it again, everybody. So yeah, Life After Tech's available for Kindle pre-order, and then it'll be out on September 30, paperback, hardcover, audiobook, PDF, and EPUB. So yeah, that is, and of course there is a whole chapter on belonging because I started with this article, and so the book started with 2 articles, and then it became a book. So, so there will be a whole bunch of things about belonging. And if you want to get ready for action and you're interested in the Life After Tech multiverse, we've got a YouTube channel coming at Your Life After Tech. You can subscribe to that. Ana Lucia says the amount of belonging she kept saying is just bizarre. It sounds a lot like those "we're like a family here" and that's a red flag. Yeah, I agree. It did sound weird because she was saying belonging to me during the interview, and then afterwards, when I told her that I wasn't interested in relocating at this time, so I would have to press pause on working there, she wrote again like, "Yes, well, this is part of our community and belonging program," and my thought was like, I'm worried about this woman. So I don't know, maybe she'll hear this or read my book and know that I'm worried about her. So yeah, be careful. So yeah, I said no to that, and because it's definitely plan C to leave my husband and my dogs and move to a city I don't want to live to get to work for a job that might lay me off quickly. Is that a cult? Yeah, it's funny. Definitions of a cult vary. I'm sure that I would be able to leave this job. It would probably be easier to leave than a cult, but it did definitely sound like a little bit of a sucking vacuum, ooh, join us kind of vibe that I didn't totally feel comfortable with. So there you go. So I hope I'll see everybody tomorrow here on the channel and live on LinkedIn to take your questions, anything you want to talk about related to CX, UX, product and service strategy, anything that you think I know something about. It's free mentoring time, so please get your questions in or join us live so you can send them again. dcx.to has all the links to the things. You can also check see the courses page is linked from that. We've got some courses coming up, lots of stuff going on. I've been working all summer on writing. Ana Lucia says you need to go through our belonging program to be brainwashed. Yeah, I don't know what the belonging program was, and so I'm not convinced that it necessarily was a brainwashing program, but it definitely got over buzzwordy and started to lose its meaning. And that's when I started asking myself, what is belonging and what does belonging mean to me? Then thanks as always to Thomas Wilson for the shirt. In case he thinks I don't wear the shirts, he got me. All right, I'm going to say thank you to everybody for joining our short webinar. I do have more webinars coming, mostly in October. Got some new courses coming in October. We're going to be doing writing and public speaking. If anybody wants to improve their public speaking in any language, the course is in English. Hope you'll join. Yeah, I don't know how many people they're recruiting or laying off. Who knows, you know? And I'm still writing the planning qualitative research course. I hope that I don't have to postpone that because I still have a lot to write. But worst case scenario, we postpone the qualitative research course, but I will be writing a how to plan qual research course. I will play us, I will flame us out of here, which really goes with the new branding, and I will catch everybody soon. Thanks for joining me live or watching the video later, and have a super day. Bye.